This is one of the hardest decisions that I've ever made in this job. And the reason that it was hard was that I've heard from hundreds of people on both sides of the issue with very passionate views on whether or not we should authorize this rezoning.
Tonight, a veto by South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg is getting mixed reaction across the city. The rezoning bill in question would have allowed the pro-life Women's Care Center to open a facility on the lot adjacent to abortion provider Whole Women's Health. In the end, the mayor says it came down to doing what's best for the neighborhood and that this is not an abortion policy decision. Tonight, pro-choice activists are thrilled by the mayor's veto, and the Women's Care Center says it's a setback for them to expand to the city's west side. News Center 16's Jen Cardone is here to tell us what people on both sides of this issue have to say. Jen?
Well, Terry, it's an issue that has allowed for only standing room at the past two Common Council meetings with tons of support for both sides. Now tonight, the people for and against the Women's Care Center moving in next door say they're not giving up.
This isn't an abortion policy decision. This is a neighborhood policy decision, and I have to do what's right for that neighborhood.
On Friday, Mayor Pete Buttigieg announced his veto to allow a women's care center to move directly next to Whole Women's Health on Lincoln Way West. He says one of the toughest decisions he's ever had to make.
The reason this is such a tough issue is that so many people that I respect and admire and appreciate have very passionate and very opposite views on what the right thing is to do.
A win for pro-choice advocates, but a blow for the Women's Care Center to expand.
I actually started shaking. We have done so much in such a short amount of time to get the word out to the community that this is what was happening and that we still had the possibility for veto.
We are deeply saddened that care for women and children in South Bend got caught up in politics. And there has never been an instance in violence. Today we have 29 centers in 10 states. There has never been violence.
I don't think that it would be responsible to situate two groups literally right next to each other.
Besides the fact that the two buildings are side by side, some council members voted against the rezone because they say that it's not safe to walk out here near the busy Lincoln Way West.
The bus stops are pretty far away. They may be walking to the center, and there's no sidewalks to do that. So that, in my mind, presents something of a safety issue.
This decision has been very heavy on my heart and not an easy decision to make.
Now, the Women's Care Center says it's going to regroup to figure out what to do next. Pro-choice advocates say they will continue to fight to make sure the Women's Care Center cannot move on to that lot. Now, the council will have to decide whether or not to hold a vote at their next meeting, and this is also the first time that Mayor Pete has ever handed in the paperwork to veto something during his term.
And that vote would be kind of override this veto decision on that.
Yeah, if they do decide to hold another vote.
All right.